Welcome to the Luxembourg Funcast. Today, we're going to dig into something pretty significant for anyone in legal. Directors, COSECs, key decision makers here in Luxembourg.
Yeah, it's about that recent news on the sustainability directives.
Exactly.
Right.
The postponement of the Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive, CSDDD, and the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, CSRD. We're basing this deep dive on a Paperjam English news piece from April 23rd, 2025. It's titled, Government Supports Postponement of CSRD, CSDDD. So let's unpack what this actually means.
Well, the first thing to note is when this happened, the European Parliament voted on this in early April 25.
Right.
And it wasn't just out of the blue. It was part of this stop the clock procedure.
Ah, okay. On that bigger legislative project.
Exactly. The omnibus thing aimed at, well, simplifying sustainable finance rules. So it's like hitting pause within a bigger cleanup effort.
And Luxembourg's reaction.
Yeah.
The Paperjam article mentions Prime Minister Frieden's response.
Yes, his reply to Green MEP Sam Tansen made it quite clear. The Luxembourg government is fully behind this postponement.
Okay, fully behind it. Why, though? What's the rationale from Luxembourg's perspective?
It really lines up with what the Commission wants, too. It's about easing the administrative load,
The burden.
the regulatory burden, especially on smaller and medium-sized businesses, which we have a lot of here.
Right, the SMEs.
But, and this is important, while still trying to protect human rights and the environment, those core goals aren't being dropped.
So it's about proportionality.
That seems to be the idea. And Luxembourg actually told the EU Council they supported this approach.
So this isn't just delaying for delaying's sake. It sounds like the goal is more predictability for companies.
That's definitely part of it. Give Luxembourg companies and others in the EU a bit more certainty, a clearer runway to prepare.
Makes sense. It gives everyone some breathing room.
Right.
But you mentioned simplification. It's more than just a time delay.
Oh, absolutely. The Commission isn't just pushing back the dates. They're talking about targeted reductions.
Reductions in what businesses have to do.
Potentially, yes. Revising the texts to make them, well, simpler. MEP Pascal Canfin was quoted saying you simplify, but you don't...
Empty them of their substance.
Exactly. You don't gut the directives. So we might see streamlined requirements.
And Luxembourg supports that simplification push, too.
Yes, Frieden's reply confirms that. They told the Council they want simplification for both CSRD and CSDDD.
But again, stressing that the main objectives have to be respected. It's that balancing act again, isn't it?
It really is. Practicality versus purpose.
And this whole conversation about burden, it fits into a bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
About European competitiveness.
Definitely. You see it mentioned in relation to things like the Draghi report from last September or the Commission's competitiveness compass from January.
Ah, okay.
There's this wider concern that too much red tape is, potentially holding back European businesses.
Yeah. So for our listeners, the legal folks, the directors, COSECs, there's also a specific point about legal certainty.
Yes, Prime Minister Frieden highlighted that. This pause gives the Luxembourg legislator more time.
More time to do what?
To make sure that when these directives are transposed into Luxembourg law, it's done clearly, to ensure legal certainty.
Which is crucial for planning and compliance.
Hugely important. But there's a but. Frieden did add a caveat. He said the government's position isn't set in stone. It could still change.
Depending on what happens at the EU level.
Exactly, depending on further discussions and the final shape of the whole legislative package. So things are still a bit fluid.
Okay, so that raises the question for everyone listening. What do you do now? How do you plan with this moving target?
Well, the first takeaway is obvious. That immediate deadline pressure from the original timelines, it's eased off.
Right, you've got more time.
But the underlying reasons for these rules, the push for sustainability reporting and due diligence, that hasn't gone away.
Still very much on the agenda.
Absolutely. This is a delay and potential revision, not a cancellation. So staying informed is key.
Informed about what specifically?
About the revised texts when they come out, what simplifications actually make it in, how might your specific obligations change? That's what you need to watch.
So use this extra time wisely. Don't just sit back.
Precisely. It's an opportunity. Look at your current sustainability practices now. Start figuring out the steps you'll likely need to take.
Even if the final rules aren't 100% clear yet.
Yes, because getting a head start on assessment and preparation will be invaluable later, aligning with the likely direction of travel.
And think about how that focus on reducing the administrative burden might shape the final rules.
Yes, consider that. It might mean simpler processes in some areas, but the core requirements for governance, compliance, and legal frameworks will still need careful handling.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive on the Luxembourg Fundcast,
Yeah.
this postponement of CSRD and CSDDD is really a window.
A strategic window for preparation, yeah.
Keep a close eye on updates from the EU, from the Luxembourg government. Understanding how this evolves is just crucial for navigating corporate sustainability here.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's definitely worth reflecting on how these changes might impact your own organization's governance, compliance, legal side. Maybe think about, what are the first steps you'll take during this pause?